Well, hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, the podcast for all the crap we love to talk about on Ye Olde Brav. I'm Ronnie, that's Ben over there. Hello, Ben.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. I mean, I've been given a gift, a whole new boatload of dum-dums to make fun of on the internet. Goodness. Oh, thank you, Lord. Like manna dropping from heaven. Welcome to the first Below Deck Down Under Season 3 recap. Is what I meant to say. We're glad to be here with Below Deck. Hi, welcome to the show, okay? We just did the Golden Crappie Awards in New York City. They are available on streaming until about February 14th, so go get your tickets, okay? Also, we're going to be in Salt Lake City and Denver this week. In Salt Lake City, we're going to be doing Salt Lake City. And in Denver, we're going to be doing Southern Charm. So come see us and go to watchwhatcrappens.com for all of our dates. We've got 15 more dates coming up, I think, this year. So go check them out and get your tickets so we can meet you in your town, okay? Also, we're doing Traders recaps this year, and they are on Patreon. We also have videos on Patreon. If you prefer video recaps, hi. That's where you can see us right now. And if you don't want to pay for Patreon, you can still get videos a week after they're released over on our YouTube channel. How about you, Ben? Anything you want to say?
No, not much. Just, I'm excited for this. This was such a shit show of an opening of a first episode on this giant boat. I mean, we haven't had Below Deck Down Under on our TV for over a year. So it's nice to have it back. But wow, I was stressed out during this episode.
Was it the stairs?
It was the stairs. And it was also that elevator. I was like, as soon as they showed that elevator, I was like, this elevator is going to break this season. I just didn't expect it to happen the first episode.
Oh, yeah. I've known people with elevators in their homes, and they're just a nightmare. I don't know how anybody has an elevator. That shit breaks. Breaks. Okay. You remember when we were in that town and there was that lady, Sherry What's-Her-Buns, that was her pictures in all the elevators, and they were like, the elevator commissioner, Sherry Berry. And we were making fun of it. Well, now I see why you need an elevator commissioner. What a pain in the ass. Elevators, get better.
Yeah, honestly. And also, like, how do you design this enormous yacht that's like 4 stories high and you put the galley all the way in the basement, but like the dining room is on the roof? How do you not just like incorporate a service elevator? Like, what is the thinking here? Watching some of the things they had to do with those staircases this episode, it really stressed me out. And it's like, we have a whole season ahead of us with that staircase.
Yeah, there's a lot of staircase drama that's going to be happening. Staircases suck. I just think we're in the future now. We need better things. Like, we need better ways to get upstairs, preferably being pulled up them somehow. We need better elevators. Also, this and why are we still plugging things in everywhere? Like plugging all your phones, all your everything in. I just hate cords. Okay, figure out a way that we don't need to do that anymore. Electricity, and also they designed this boat without outdoor passageways. Like, there's no like decks that go around the boat. I mean, who designed this?
I know. I think there was one deck that went around because I saw them outside. I think like a lower deck went around, but I think an upper deck, I'm not sure. They said there was nothing going around. Either way, I think this is a poorly designed boat. It looked really nice at first because it was so big, but it looks very difficult. And I'm like, is the air conditioning not working? Because I know it's hot and humid outside. And actually, that's also adding to the stress. The fact that they're all sweating, guests, captain, crew, they're all sweating all the time. But like, why are they sweating so much indoors? Is it oppressive inside?
I think so. And plus the stairs.
Stairs. Got the stairs and humidity. Yeah. And then the whole thing with the sous chef. I mean, I love that we have a sous chef this season, but I am stressed out about that galley. But
he's a little shithead too, although he's not completely wrong either.
I'm about to say
his attitude is not great.
He's a shithead, but he also needs to be used.
Yes.
And weevils and maggots. It's just all stressful.
Weevils and maggots. Oh my God. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy one to start. Now, all the ads leading up to this have been Captain Jason coming out of the water in a wet shirt and like how sexy Captain Jason is and stuff. I think the guy's sexy, but give the man a break, Yeah. Keep your hands off the merchandise, ladies.
Yeah, seriously. So, why don't we just dive into this madness that's happening here on this boat, which is that we start out and we see a big thing that says Seychelles. So we're in the Seychelles, kind of kind of stretching the idea of being down under quite a bit in that we're no longer in Australia and we're in the Indian Ocean and we're like up by Africa, but that's okay. We are in the Southern Hemisphere. So
well, now, you know,
counts.
I don't know anything about geography. Okay. So I was like, Africa, Indian Ocean. Wait a minute.
Seychelles.
Yeah, but I barely know the valley where I live. So I can't really, I'm like,
below deck the valley
again? Like, seriously? I mean, so I don't know that I should be expected to know any of this stuff. But even I was like, wait a second. I don't think any of this is true. I feel lied to.
Yeah. So we see like a preview of the season and everything, which is all exciting and stuff. And Captain Jason does his whole thing of like a spiel about like, luxury yachting in the Seychelles is where the Seychelles are. It's humid. So
Seychelles by the Seychelles, mate. Sarah's. What is that?
I'm like,
what does that rhyme?
She sells seashells by the seashore. I think there's more to it. I just remember learning it from Snoopy because like Sally's like I had a book when I was a kid and Sally set up a seashell stand by the seashore and it was like Sally sells seashells by the seashore and I was like, how enterprising.
Yeah, I love Sally. Sally's like, let's just get some free shit and get some money for it. That's my kind of girl. Seychelles by the Seychelles. It's a tongue twister. It's often used to practice pronunciation. There you go. Hey, you know what doesn't need a whole lot of work? The internet. Thank you, internet. Thank you for being better than stairs and elevators and non-wraparound decks and cords and electric cords.
Yeah, all of those things. Thanks for being significantly better than so many things in our lives. So Zarina shows up and she's like, wow, she's huge. Oh, wow, first to arrive. So she shows up first and basically she's like, Jason has fish. Oh, yeah, he has fish. He has pet fish. He didn't name them, right? They were just there.
I think like if you have fish on land, that's cute. You know, it's like, look, I'm appreciating the ocean. But when you have fish on a boat, that's like fish trafficking. Like you're holding those things prisoner. That's not cool, man. You're like, look at this whole world you don't get to swim in because I've captured you.
But it's like a prison. Like it's like if we went to jail and someone said, okay, you're going to jail and we're building the jail right in your backyard. And you just have to sit and like look at your life that you used to have. And you can see it, but you can't touch it.
It's like that time I locked myself in the bathroom at my house.
Yes.
And I had to climb out the window into another person's apartment. You know, I could have been killed if that was in Texas.
That was, yes. And that is exactly what it feels like to be a fish on a yacht, which is just locked in your bathroom.
Yeah, you're just stuck there with your poop. And also that tank didn't look very clean. I think he's probably watching those YouTube videos that I watched a long time ago where there was a really hot guy and he's like, I'm into all natural tanks. And I'm like, oh my God, I love it. And like plantscapes and whatever you call those. And I got really into it until I killed all the fish when I changed the water and then I was traumatized. But anyway, I'm wondering if Captain Jason has found this hot guy and he's like, well, there's a handsome lad. Maybe I'll try my hand at natural seascapes in a bowl. But whatever, it's not working. Okay, that's some green ass water. Let those fish out.
Let them free. And by the way, this is the below deck where they show the most underwater footage. Like they're like, we are going to pay for some good stock footage because it's like every other scene, they just like interject some random fish. There was one point in the episode where like two people were talking and just like a giant ray was below them. They just like split the screen and below. It was just a big like manta ray or stingray just floating along, you know.
Yeah, that's Karen's Ray from Real Housewives of Potomac. He's like, just trying to find Miami.
Going to the golf course.
The big star of the show, obviously, you know what I'm going to say, I'm sure. The turtle. I mean, that turtle was so like, look, I'm just a turtle. But by the end, he was like, you fucking morons. You know, it's like he passed by with like a little cigarette. Like, everyone here is stupid. Do I have to do everything myself?
I can't believe the turtle's just dismayed by the staircase. Like, where I live, you just swim up.
Yeah, you want to complain about an elevator? Look at these things that I'm stuck with. He's like going all slowly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have to go up 4 staircases. How about being endangered? Okay.
What are you complaining about? You're covered in stone. No one can get you.
Yeah. So, anyway, so Zarina's like, holy guacamole, there's a piano. Oh my God, it's like a cruise ship, an elevator. Oh, I'm going to take this, a literal elevator. It looks like it's 3 floors. Wow, Jason. And so she like runs up and gives him a hug and they're like reunited and everything.
And he gives her a hug too, but it's not like an Aisha hug. He's like, well, hello, employee. With Aisha, it's like, oh my God, I can't wait for you to put in my contacts. Let's, do the koala hug or whatever. It's not that kind of thing. It's just more of like, why are you hugging me so tight? Which I felt kind of bad for her. She deserves a bigger hug, but you got to watch out with crazy people.
Yeah, you really do. Don't want to lead them on. So they go down to, she's like finds out that, the galley's downstairs and that the chief stew is someone named Lara. And that, like, Jason says that Laura's really going to bring her A game. And Zarina is excited. She's like, I've worked with her before and she's fantastic. I really think you're going to be a great match. So at first I was like, why do they not have Aisha on this boat? Aisha is from New Zealand. She sort of matches the whole down under thing. And she's like a fan favorite. Why did they take her off this? But later on, when we meet Lara and we see like her relationship with Zarina, I was like, oh, I get it. Now I see why they put a different stew on.
Well, I think they moved Aisha to the big leagues. She's on Main Below Deck, the biggest ratings getter. But I agree. I think she should be on this one too. Because, I don't know, she should be. Maybe she should just be on all of them. But when she said this whole thing of, oh my God, you're going to love her. We've worked together. And that means in Housewives world, she is bringing this cast member on. She recommended this cast member. And now this cast member is going to betray her ass in the middle of the season. And she's going to cry about it. And they're going to have a fight that's thinly veiled of like, I got you this show. Now you're treating me like this.
Yeah, it's going to be a shit show between the two of them. We can already tell. And then also the big twist this season is that there is a sous chef, which I love this as an idea because we've never really examined tension between a chef and a sous chef. And that's just this very first episode. We see like how fertile this ground is for drama.
Yeah, because one of the most dramatic areas in a restaurant is the kitchen, and it's all those relationships, because the chef is generally abusive, and then we have to watch how everybody deals with that abuse. Some people become like Stockholm syndrome where they're like, oh my God, the chef's amazing. And some people secretly want to murder the chef or dream about having his job. And so we never get to see that really on this show. So yeah, I agree. It's great. And they got a really arrogant, young, semi-hot person who just knows that he should be or he thinks in his mind that he should be the chef. And now he's having to deal with Zarina instead. And it's going to be good.
Yeah. And I always wonder like what sort of, there's so much sexism in the kitchen in restaurants. So I also, there's also that dynamic at play. That's like, it's not really, it's not like something that is like a main issue, but like I have to wonder if that is something that's like bubbling under the surface with him too. Like that he's being passed around by a woman,
there's there's sexism in the kitchen, but then there's also sexism on boats. I mean, Jesus Christ, just add government in there and you've got like the trifecta. I mean, if that sous chef would just run for mayor, we'll have a complete trifecta of a shit show.
Yeah, 100%. So, and Zarina's like, well, to be honest, as long as he can clean and carry heavy stuff and like hold me when I cry, I think that's all I'll need. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. When you're looking at your sous chef as your errand boy, you're going to be in fucking trouble because the sous chef is not the bar back. That's not their job to do all your dishes.
Yeah. The other thing they're doing this season is that as people come onto the boat, they're kind of giving them, it's like the beginning of like Blind Date or like one of those dating shows from the 2000s where like it will see their picture and then it'll freeze and we'll get vital stats. So we see like where they're from, how old they are, and then like what their experience is, and then like a fun fact. So next we have Lara, and she's from Cornwall, UK, and she's 36 years old, and she's 6 years as chief stew, and her mom named her after a horse.
And I also like that some bitchy queen added in the temperature when she arrives because it's like you're going to they're like, we promise you, we've picked a place that's going to slowly make these people go crazy. So here's the temperature when she arrives. It's 88 degrees and the humidity is 77%. Watch out. Laura's about to blow.
Are you talking about the horse?
Who says that? Her mom, just if that's even a fact, don't say it. My mom named me after a horse. Jesus Christ.
I'm like, also like, okay, I have to imagine the horse was probably named after a human. So why don't you say you named Lara after the OG Lara, like Lara Flynn Boyle? Just say Lara Flynn Boyle. Anything. Don't say like a horse.
Yeah, go back to the beginning of the cycle. For example, my name is Rondell and my mom's name is Rhonda. So a lot of people are like, oh, great. No wonder you're like your mom because she named you after her but added an L. Well, actually, the truth is my grandfather was named Rondell, and he wanted a boy to name Rondell, but he had a girl instead. So they just took off the L. So she got shafted because her whole name means like, we really wanted you to be a boy. Sorry, you're not good enough. And then my mom wanted a little girl, and she had a little boy. Oh, no. So she added the L back on. So it's like a whole cycle of disappointment in your birth.
Oh, no. That's so multi-layered. I had no idea about the trauma embedded in your name, Ronnie.
Yeah, I have a very traumatic name.
Now, here's the thing. I would say like, okay, so-and-so is named after a horse. If their name was like Seabiscuit, it's like, oh, and now here comes our chief stew, Seabiscuit. And they say, she's named after a horse. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I get it. Here comes Hanky, or like, here comes Diamonds. But
I was
like,
gonna say Hanky's the swan. Leave Hanky out of this.
Well, that would be... Hanky was named after a swan. I would be okay with that. But like if the name is already like a human name, why is that? Like, why is the horse part of it the essential part? I don't understand that.
And who named a horse Lara? What a weird name for a horse.
Lara?
Do horses not get cute names? They do, right? Because we've seen horse racing, like you said, Seabiscuit. And they're always like, Kleenex in your Meemaw's purse.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, almost all horses have ridiculous names. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why who named their horse Lara? Because anytime you go to like a horse race, it's always like peanut butter chocolate cake is racing out. It's coming in the first peanut butter chocolate cake. Oh, and here comes Stapler, and then oh my God, vagina exposed, coming around the bend, and here comes Lara.
Little Debbie's bad for your stomach, coming around the bend.
Leave the last ass off for savings is now coming into third place. They were from behind, and here comes leave the last ass off for savings.
1-800-CARS-FOR-KIDS coming around the corner there. Frosty Bush falling behind. Warm up that bush, Frosty. Warm up that bush.
I feel bad for the horse that I named Exposed Vagina. That's
Exposed Vagina. Horses do, in fact, have exposed body parts. And they're enormous,
Yeah.
Gigantic vagina, gigantic exposed vagina coming around. Okay.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
Okay, so Zarina is talking while we see this, while we see Lara come on board. And Zarina's like, oh my God, yeah, I can't wait to put this little Sous to work. But, thank God he's British because British humor is dark, it's sarcastic, it's mean as fuck. This could be really awesome. There's no boundaries in British humor. I hope you're ready for that to come bite you in the ass because he can use the same thing. And you've already said it in your monologue. He can be like, I wasn't disrespecting you. It was British humor, darling.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like British humor was made solely so that way British people can just always refer to it when they've offended someone. What are you talking about? It's British humor, darling. Pick up your tears.
Yeah, the Lisa Vanderpump of it all. So Lara sees the stairs and she's like, fuck this. She's like, oh my God, this is going to be a nightmare. And so she goes to meet Jason and stuff. And I like that she wasn't overly friendly. I really like that this chick is just icy up front.
Yeah.
She's like, listen, I've been on enough boats to know you're all going to hate me. Okay. And I already hate you. I don't care how many ads you've done without your shit on. All right. You piece of shit. Is that fish a prisoner? Clean that fish tank.
Yeah, I think that we both really enjoy an icy chief stew. Like that's like really exciting for us. And she is very icy. She seems like she has no emotions. In fact, later on when she cried, I was actually upset that she cried because I was like, no, I want you to be so icy you just don't even feel anything. Don't break down. Just like be icy. And but so far so good on the Lara front.
Oh, she'll be broken like they broke Seabiscuit. soon.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Yeah,
They'll get her. This is below deck. No one leaves here crying. You know what I mean? And we've had a long line recently, post Kate and Hannah, we've had a long line of Stu's really trying to be liked. And so it's nice that there's someone who maybe she wants to be liked, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. It definitely won't be happening. No. I also like, by the way, as we'll see over the course of the episode, Lara was really good about tending to fabrics. Like there were a lot of cutaway shots of her like smoothing out like a bedspread or smoothing out like a napkin or a tablecloth. She likes to sort of put her hands on things and she sort of evens it out. And it was like an attention to detail. And I love that because it's the chief stews who have that attention to detail who are the ones that like really are like hilariously cold to their underlings and like make their lives out. Love that. I love that so much when the chief stew, when you have like the spoiled brat stews like on Below Deck Sailing last year, and you just have a chief stew who's like, I don't have time to tolerate your funny business because I've got fabrics to press down on. Like it's great energy.
Yeah. So she tells us that she's been in the industry for 13 years, and she's like, growing up, my dad was an airline pilot. Unfortunately, he just wanted to be on ground because he was addicted to gambling, and so he named me after one of his horses, Lara Mora, Nickel and Dime. And, it was kind of rough having a father who would run around right behind me just saying, faster, faster, you can do it faster. I was the first girl who ran into school, tripped on the stairs and broke my tooth. I'll never forgive my father.
I've always been around stewardesses. I love how made up they are and how perfect their hair was. I do take care of myself and I like to be very neat and tidy and proper. Sounds posh. I quite like it.
And this is a callback to one of our favorite chief stews of all time who didn't get the chance to live. I mean, she's still alive. She has a baby and stuff. But I mean, on the show, that is Faye. That is Faye. Who was like, ladies, what do we do as stewardesses? We wear lipstick. And we curl our hair. A little hairspray never hurt anybody, ladies.
Yes, I enjoy a stew that treats the boat like a finishing school. That's very important to me.
Me too. And I saw, because we follow Faye, because we love Faye. And I saw her post something the other day, because, she does have a baby and she went back to being brunette. She's doing a lot of things I don't approve of in her real life, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But she did have a post of something like, who wants me back on Below Deck already? Like, isn't it time? And I was like, I love that you're ready to just drop the baby, pull out the peroxide, and get here, Like Alita Adams saying, I don't care how you get here. Just get here if you can, okay? Because I love you, Faye.
Yeah, I love that she's dropping that hint because, like, we're ready. We're ready. Like, let's insert her on one of these shows. Put her on like classic Below Deck. I actually think that Fraser is nice and everything. And I enjoy Fraser. And it's nice to have like a gay man as a chief stew. But honestly, if I had to make a pick, if someone had to be swapped out for Faye, it probably would be Fraser for me at this point.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to make that choice. But I definitely want to see her on. And I would like to see her get a chance at the big leagues,
Yeah.
I would. She deserves
it's just that, like,
it.
I could never say no to Aisha or to Daisy. And is there anyone else? This new person, this one's new, so I can't say. But I'm just saying.
Know, but then, there's
So Fraser gets the short end of the stick.
No, there's a girl who, oh my God, she was originally from Down Under, and now she's Toomey. There's Toomey. Toomey kind of fucked it up in her last.
Yeah, she got replaced by Aisha.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it. Yeah. Oh, she did get replaced by Aisha?
Yeah. Because, meaning that
they're all
like
confused in my mind.
Yeah, it's all kind of like one big spectrum, but like Toomey was on as chief stew on a shit show of a season. And I love Toomey. So it's like just to say I want to replace Fraser is not to say I don't love Fraser. I'm just saying like some people are just like icons. And so like Toomey was on, and then we had a Below Deck season, and then we went back to Below Deck Med, and everyone was surprised that we went like Med, classic Med. Because remember, they threw in the Med that we suspect because they were re-editing Below Deck Sailing. So in the second Med, that's where Aisha was on as a chief stew. And then we just had Sailing, and now we're Down Under again.
But did they even edit Below Deck Sailing? Because Gary was still a main part of that whole season. I don't even think they re-edited. I just thought they were doing the old, give it time. People will be less mad.
Or maybe they were like conducting an investigation and they're like, if this investigation turns out badly, then we have to pull the entire season. But then they're like, okay, it's enough that we can air the season. Who knows?
So Zarina sees Lara and they're hugging and she goes, oh my God, look at you. It's so wonderful to see you. And she's like, I'm hot and sweaty. It's disgusting. She goes, well, I have a sweat mustache all the time. I smell. What else is new? Honestly, Zarina.
She's like, well, I feel like someone else is here. So I wonder who the bosun would be. Her saying, I feel like someone else is here is her way of trying to say, I better go check to see if someone else is here because I don't want to talk to you anymore.
I need to smooth something down to feel a little bit better. That's my face, darling. That's my face. I know. Listen, I love an impossible challenge. Or is there a hot person here?
Ooh, I hope they're not bad looking. Okay, do you want a cabin with me? Do you want to do that? Remember in Antigua when you had the dancing cabin and I was like alone in the cabin by myself? So I thought it would be fun that this time I could be the dancing cabin and we could be dancing together. Wouldn't that be fun? And Laura's like, sure.
If there was ever a face that actually was the sound of a sigh, it was that face. I mean, it was just one long, she just stared at her, but it was just one long, great. It sounds great.
If I were her, I would have said, you know what, let's get the entire crew on here first, and then let's reassess and see who goes where, and then I'm going to plug myself in wherever there's like a gap. But you could see, like in that moment, I was like, oh, she doesn't like Zarina. Now I know why they didn't have Aisha back. They were like, let's get the person who has beef with Zarina.
Yeah, and she's like, remember last time I had the room alone and there was the other fun cabin, but how about this time we're the fun cabin, you and me, fun cabin. And Lara's just like, oh, fuck off. So then we meet Weon.
I forget how he said his name. I feel like it was like a the sound, like Vion.
Listen, we don't know anybody's names or accents or remember their faces for at least 4 episodes. So I hope people aren't coming in too picky right now. But he arrives and I mean, it's a nice name because it's unique, but I feel bad for him because it's very similar to the flu. And that's rough. So she was named after Horus. He's named after a flu. I mean, the fun just never ends this season.
Is he the Vian of the avian? I looked it up.
There was the Wuhan. Remember the Wuhan virus?
So he gets it on 2 different. Whichever way you spell it, it's flu. Whichever way. It looks like, according to the internet, which we have previously established is better than the staircase. Vihan. I think it's Vihan. V sounds like V in very, and E sounds like E and C, and H sounds like, okay, I get it.
That's nice. And he's from Paarl, South Africa, which is Paarl. And I just like to think of Pearl from 227. Mary, you better get upstairs. Lester is waiting for you to have some dinner, Mary. He's 31 years old, and he's worked as a shirtless server at a bar named Beefcakes. So, hot piece of ass coming through, ladies and gentlemen. Get your dollars out.
And then we go back to Lara, who has this glowing review of her experience with Zarina. She goes, well, me and Zarina know each other from a previous boat, and I'm like Barbie, and she's weird Barbie. On my previous boat, we worked together for 6 months, and not everyone likes Zarina. Present company included. She's definitely an acquired taste. She's like Vegemite. You either love it or you hate it, but under all the bravado and the extraness and annoyingness and ugly facedness and stupidity and like, God, get this woman out of my spaceness. She's a good person, I've been told. I don't know. Apparently she has a good heart. I don't know. She made broth last season. I don't know anything about it.
If she's a good person, why are you calling her Vegemite? Who says that? This woman's a monster. There, I said it.
Yeah. This is someone who does not like Zarina, but doesn't want to come off like a total biatch in the beginning. So she's trying to be sort of nice. She's like, I think the audience likes Zarina, so I don't want to be the one that doesn't like Zarina, but I don't like Zarina.
And then Zarina, her take is, I want a room with Lara because I know Lara's a cool girl, I've never been cool. We all know I'm a bit of a weirdo, So we did clash heads a little bit at work, but we've always said we're much better as an off-boat friendship, but we've matured. I'm sure it's going to be great. She's going to love me. Cool girl status incoming.
Oh, God. So then they're doing some sort of like administrative stuff with the bedroom and everything. And then Vihan gets down there and they introduce themselves to him. And he says that he's like the bosun and Lara's, they're all making introductions and stuff like that.
I like when Zarina shows Lara their room. And she's like, look, there's a third bed here. Isn't that exciting? And Lara's like, we could use that for shoes and bags. It's like, shoes and bags? Who's got more than one pair of each? I mean, it's ridiculous, actually. I actually sometimes will use my shoe as a bag. Shoelaces, just put a little bit of lipstick in there. What more do you need in life, really? Come on. Lara's just like, please die. It was like, please die.
I feel like there probably is some sort of handbag that's like in the shape of a shoe, like shoelaces. I guarantee that's like a thing.
And Jennifer Tilly owns it, probably. So, they meet that guy. He's kind of boring, but you know what? There's a reason guys at Beefcakes never talk, okay? They're not there for their conversation. They're there for their butts, right?
That's right.
So then we meet Adair, who is a deck stew, and she's from Buford, Georgia, and she's 24 years old, and she enjoys doing fireball shots with her 97-year-old neighbor.
Why does this feel like the match game? Why do we feel like we're meeting contestants on a game show somewhere?
Because they're bringing people on that you want to throw a match at.
To make you want to like shake your TV. So she says, coming from Georgia boat and scraping boats in the muck, I had no idea that the industry really existed until I was offered my first job. I thought I was going to get kidnapped. Look, there was this amazing couple and they said, hey, our bosses own a $20 million yacht and you should work with it. And I'm like, you're going to kidnap me. That's what my mom tells me. Don't talk to people like you. I really thought I was going to get kidnapped. I thought so. So of course I went with them. Like, well,
that was my reaction too. I was like, so you went? I mean, who knows? Maybe it's just a creepy white van. The man had ice cream. I'm getting in. Okay. Risk it. Whoever risks it wins the biscuit. You know what I'm saying? But also this girl's so confusing because she's like, I love boating. I've been a muck scraper, a dog, whatever. She started listing all these boat jobs, but then they kept showing her on four-wheelers dressed like Lara Croft. So I was really confused.
That's who the horse was named after.
No, Lara Croft was also named after a horse, and then a horse was named after Lara Croft.
It's an endless cycle.
Mm-hmm. So Serena's like, I need to look professional for my sous chef. I'm getting a sous chef. British humor, can't wait. And Lara's like, well, I'm looking out for my stew, Brianna, OMG. From 2016 to now, she's a model. Look at her. A model from 2016. New York Fashion Week, British Vogue. Can't wait to call her an old lady because really 2016, someone's a little bit long in the tooth. Do you really need to? Is everything going to be a horse reference with you? I mean, let it go already.
Zarina goes, you know what? It's going to be actually nice and relieved to have another model on board. And you can see Lara's like, please don't ruin my relationship with a fashion model. I need this right now.
So then we see Brianna's bio. She's from Mullins Hill, New Jersey, and she's 22 years old. Wait, she's been a model since 2016, which was, what year is it? 2025. So she was like a teenage model, I guess. I guess that's normal.
If this was filmed in 2024... So that would be 8 years ago. So yeah, she was like, I guess at 14. She's been modeling since then.
God, I'd love child labor.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I started modeling way younger than that. I think I was 9 when I modeled the Husky line at Dillard's. So watch out, Bree. Brianna.
Brianna. And then we see Anthony, the sous chef. He's on board next, and he's from London, and he's 26 years old, and here's something that's important for everyone to know. His favorite pizza is gorgonzola, prosciutto, and olives. So this guy must be so boring that they couldn't find anything better than his favorite pizza. Like, you know, you got one person who modeled in British Vogue, one person worked in a gay bar, one person's named after a horse. And all we know about this guy is that his favorite pizza is gorgonzola, prosciutto, and olives.
But that is a pretty weird pizza because what it tells me is that he has no personality. And so he's struggling for identity. And he's like, oh my God, gorgonzola on a pizza. That's crazy. I'm going to say that's my favorite. I mean, gorgonzola, prosciutto, and olives, all very strong flavors. Surely people will think I'm interesting.
And then we have Marina, another stew, who shows up. And she is from Rio de Janeiro. She's 26, and she's trained in ballet for 10 years. Unfortunately, we have no idea what sort of pizza she enjoys. So we'll have to figure that out over the course of the season.
But we do know that she was into Gorgonzola ballet. So hopefully she'll have a little romance coming with the sous chef. Also, I think they're setting this whole thing up like she's really a ballet person and then she's going to fall down the stairs. That's my prediction. She's going to be like, my ballet life is ruined, or my ballet life is ruined. How could they do this to me? So Lara's impressed with Marina's experience. And then we get our little goofball. Why do I feel like I've seen him cry multiple times? It's Harry. Harry's next.
Good old Harry. So everyone's happy to see Harry. And then Anthony, the sous chef, he comes down into the kitchen, and the first thing he says is, oh, hello, what's up? Oh, wow, it's a bit commercial. It's a bit of a mess in here. I'm like, okay, all right. I know it's not Zarina's fault, but like, let's not like say it in a way like it is her fault.
Yeah, and how about you talk less with your mouth and more with your mop? Okay? Because this is your workspace. So if you find it dirty, start cleaning. Okay, Anthony? And he's telling us, oh, well, I've done my junior years period and I'm ready to step it up. I was lucky enough to work with Michelin star chef for my last restaurant. I just learned or my last yacht. I just learned so much. He was so talented, so passionate, had a penis, and we did everything together. And I feel like I'm on the periphery of becoming the head chef. All I need to do is take out one big boss. Weird Barbie it is.
So then Jason's talking to Harry, and he's like, what have you been up to? And Harry's like, well, I've been teaching my scuba diving. Got my dive instructor, got my yacht master, just got to the miles now and go back and do offshore and then officer watch, then drive big boats. And basically he says he just wants to, he really wants to be lead deckhand or bosun this season and work his way up to being a captain someday.
Yeah. And so we get a stew meeting in the main salon, and then the deck team, wherever they are, they're closed off deck. And then we get Johnny, the deckhand, hanging out with Adair. And his bio says that he's from Athens, Greece, and he's 24 years old. And he lives by the motto, a clear sky fears no thunderstorm.
That makes no sense.
That's stupid.
Like,
that's literally stupid. Well, why would the sky fear a thunderstorm anyway? It's like someone moving in for a little while. You know who fears thunderstorms? The people on the ground, okay? Who cares what the sky thinks about it?
The clear sky is just like, okay, you want to come over here, I'll go over there. Like the clear sky, the clear sky doesn't fear it, but the clear sky doesn't have anything to fear. The clear sky won't be impacted whatsoever.
Yeah, so this guy's like a dumb person who's trying to seem smart. And I know we're going to get emails like, that's like a famous saying from Plato. I don't care, okay? That was a different time. We've learned more. We have electrical cords now and elevators. So tell Plato to suck it. But also, Johnny's the one that we've seen in the previews having anger fits and having like a severe temper tantrum and problem. So I think he gets fired soon. So we already know he's angry.
Yeah, he's also really annoying. So he introduces himself, and he introduces himself to Harry. And Harry's like, oh, all right, what's your position? And he's like, lead deckhand. And he's like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, what's yours? And they just like say, oh, I'm just a regular deckhand, whatever. So they just sort of chit-chat, whatever. And
we know on the show they don't hire lead deckhands. You don't get to just skip that. Like, I get to fake it till you make it, but damn.
Well, it's wild because I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, they're changing things up. We've got a sous chef this season, and now we're going to start with a lead deckhand. That's cool. So I had no idea he was just lying at this point.
Yeah, and then they're talking to Adair now, and she's like, I've been in Yacht a little over a year, muckraking, am I right? And Harry's saying 4 or 5 years, and Vian is like, listen, I've been on catamarans, monohulls, motor yachts, super yachts, mega yachts, dicks, a lot of dicks. I used to work at a place called Beefcakes. It was just a little trip. But otherwise, now I'm a captain of a catamaran.
And then Johnny, of course, he's like threatened by him. And we know that Johnny is going to be challenging Vian over everything. And he's like, I'm super competitive with pretty much anything I do. So I grew up grappling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing. I just grind to be better than you. And one day I'll definitely be better than everyone. I'm like, well, that's great. Well, maybe you should do that as a career instead of being a quote unquote lead deckhand.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
No one wants to hang out with you, okay? You can be the best at everything, but people have to want to work with you, okay? And nobody is going to want to work with you, you arrogant little fart.
Yeah. Yeah, you say it. I was backing you up. I was praising.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So now they're looking for cabins and they're meeting the interior and everyone's like, hi. And Anthony, the Sous, meets Jason. He's like, great to have you on board. Hopefully you can help put out some great food. I do have new fish in my prison tank and I would appreciate you feeding them every once in a while. And Zarina goes, yeah. And now we've got a dishwasher. Just look at him. And Anthony goes, as if, but he's already like, I'm going to kill you.
He does not like that joke, so much so that he's going to resurrect some clueless banter. So
I don't think it's a joke either. She did not seem to be joking.
Yeah, it turns out that it's not a joke. At first I thought it was, and then it turns out, oh no, she's serious about this. So then she's like, all right, so how long have you been chefing? He goes, so I've probably worked from 17, I'd say. And I've been in yachting for 4 years now. She goes, okay, and how many boats have you been on? He's like, 4 boats. And she's like, oh, 4 boats? I've only got 2 down here on your CV. He's like, yeah, needs updating. And she goes, sneaky little gypsies. So what are your actual training and background? Are you self-taught? And she's, it's like I think standard questioning to try to understand your Sous, but he does not like this whatsoever. He is definitely a bit of a diva, acting like he is above having his work experience questioned.
Yeah, because she's, and she's going in and she's, I think in my memory, she's like sitting crisscross applesauce on top of the counter, just like kind of a pen in her mouth. Like, all right, let's get this started, She's like, what are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? And he's like, weaknesses? I mean, that's really a tough question on the spot. She goes, well, but that's why we do it, right? Weaknesses, what are they? And so your whole job's on the spot. So go ahead. And he's like, well, I mean, describing weaknesses, I don't like that. She goes, okay, then how about your strengths? Let's describe your strengths. Have you ever fit a lipstick into a shoe and taken it out to a club? That's one of my strengths. You go now. It's easy, see?
He's like, well, strengths, I'd say I'm pretty well-rounded at everything, I'd say. So basically he thinks that he's like an amazing chef who he doesn't have any weaknesses. So she's like, no weaknesses. He goes, can't really think of too many. I'm like, well, obviously there are some because you are still just a sous chef and you've clearly got things to learn. And so she goes, well, my weaknesses list is bigger than my strengths list. He goes, well, it's just a hard one for me to answer.
And she's like, really? And he says, well, what's with the interview process here? And she's like, oh, interview. Oh, I don't know anything about you. I want to know who I'm working with. And, I want to go through, know your weaknesses, your strengths, stuff like that. How hard do you hug? Do you carry tissues on you in case I'm crying? There's some important things to know. And he's like, well, I mean, I guess we'll soon find out. Oh, hell no. So she does say, she's like, I don't do egos. And if it ever happens, it's like, get out. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to understand, I'm not interrogating you. All right. I'm just trying to figure out how to work together. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. Clean, clean, clean. And then when you make crew food, I would like you to make salads, fresh fish. And then, for breakfast, just something easy, grab and go. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, would you like to maybe do guest food at some point? And he's like, 100%. Because normally when I'm with, the chefs that treat me with respect, I work with them, not for them, basically. And she's like, oh, how fun. How fun for you. Mm-hmm. All right, welcome to my boat.
Yeah, because she's really nice at first, but when he starts kind of giving a lot of attitude, We see the Zarina that we are more familiar with, which is that she's like, oh, it's another fucking man trying to like tell me how to do my job, right? Like that was like her vibe last season. You know, Zarina was bubbly and fun last season too, but a lot of times she was just exasperated by the incompetence around her. And so like it started to come out again. And you could see she was like, oh, but I'm trying to be fun Zarina this season and you're dragging me back into angry Zarina right now. Come on, it's only the first episode.
Yeah, and he's just like trying to put it out there. I like that she was like, so is your goal to eventually like help me with guest food? And then he's just like, well, I normally work hand in hand with the chef. It's like, nope, sorry. Earn it. Okay, earn it, sir. So he tells us, I didn't fly here for another interview. I haven't been interrogated like this since I was in secondary school by my headmaster. Okay, he's got a dark past. Because first of all, his CV doesn't match what he's saying. And then when he's asked any kind of weaknesses he can't answer, I don't believe you, sir. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I think he's a fucking liar.
Yeah, I think so. And so, and also like one thing that he clearly does not understand is chain of command. So like, yes, he wants to work on guest food and yes, things have been different on different boats, but like she's still his boss and he's already pushing back on that. So that's probably his biggest weakness. So she says, I'm not asking for your mother's, your social security number and your mother's maiden name. This is a huge red flag. If Anthony plays his cards right with me, I'm more than happy that by the end of the season, he can make some guest food. But as a head chef, I'm not going to trust any random person I've just met to cook guest food. Prove yourself to me and your skill. Then once trust is earned, of course, let's go for it. Which does make me question, by the way, what is the best way to bring on, if you're given us a sous chef, do you make them do grunt work for a bit and then slowly find out what their skills are, or do you just sort of like immediately commission them to help you out?
Normally a sous chef does your chopping, like if you're, you teach him the cuts that you want and you show him how to do the prep work. Usually a sous chef is doing your prep work and then you teach them to do everything and eventually they know how to do everything and you get to kind of oversee while they do a lot of the stuff, right? If you need a night off or whatever. But usually they are prepping and cooking with you. They're not your dish person. That's a separate person. Right. In this situation, there is no dish person. So I can see why she would need that. But, he's right to be annoyed if he's only going to be doing dishes and stuff this whole time. But she is also giving him an out, and he's not an out, but she's giving him like, do you want to eventually do this? And like, how can I help you move up in the world? And he's being a huge asshole to her. So then we go to Jason and he has the crew meeting and he's like, welcome to Katina. And he introduces the first officer and engineers who we don't even see. They don't even give him a shot this time.
No, they
usually
do.
They do?
They got a shot, and it was funny because the guy in the middle, I was
like, that's cold.
It was for like half a second, and I definitely went back and paused because it's just like, again, it looks like three mafiosi. And the guy in the middle, his eyes are bulging out, and you can see he's like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm a vending machine repairman. I don't know how I ended up on this boat, and now I'm stuck here. Like, he looks like he is so out of his league.
Well, Jason does his whole spiel of like, I like to look at this like we're one big family environment. We're brothers. We're sisters. Oh, shut up. I hate that. We're brothers. You know what I used to do to my sister? I used to pull out her eyelashes. Then I would put her, I had this toy box that was shaped like a football, and I would put her in it, and then I would roll it down the stairs. Okay. I do not want anybody to treat me like I treated my sister. I was a monster,
Did you really do those things to Carly?
Yeah. I was young. I didn't know the difference.
The pulling out the eyelashes is really intense.
I was a monster.
I don't even know how does that happen? You just pinned her down or something? Like,
I guess. I don't remember doing it. These are just stories my parents tell. Or like when my mom would be feeding my sister, probably wine, like let's face it, I would just stand in front of her and then whip out my wiener and pee all over the carpet. Like I was a very, very awful child. So I don't know. We didn't all have the same, growing up experience. So I suggest that we stop saying, let's be like a family. You know what I mean? No one wants a wine bottle thrown at their head on Christmas Eve.
Well, as the old saying goes, if you've got time to pee, you got time to clean. So, you learned it from an early age.
So respect each other. I mean, look, I do everything. I run plates. I strip, Mr. Beefcakes. You'll see me do crew messes. You'll probably be crew messes. You'll see me handling my own laundry. And I expect you to do that as well. All right. And they're all just looking at him like, no, I'm not doing my laundry.
Yeah. They do not want to do that. So first charter starts tomorrow, and Jason starts talking to us about this massive boat. And he's like, Cortina is a great boat. It's got a big bow at 60 meters, which means more work. The galleys are downstairs, so we have 3 levels to get the food from the galley all the way to the sun deck, and there's no external walkways. So all the crew have to actually walk through the main salon to get out, and it's a lot of responsibility on every department to work together to make sure this is going to happen. Like, why are they making the crew? Again, it's like, why do they design it this way? Making the crew walk through the space where the guests are going to be relaxing. It just doesn't. I hate this boat already.
Yeah, it's not well designed, I don't think. So then the bosun's like, all right, now we just need to get the boat clean. That's the first thing we need to do. And Johnny's like, for people here, I think it's too much. Do you want to split? Because I can go start on ball. And he's like, okay, well, there's not going to be any guests on right now. I don't think we need to focus on that. He's like, nope, just be ready because of experience. Maybe I can go forward alone. So you can help with guidance. That's my thought. Excuse you, sir. You are not the boss of me, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get your clear skies out of our faces right now because you, sir, are full of shit. So he is definitely of that. He is in that mold of the decky who thinks he knows more than the bosun. So then Vion tells us that part of being part of yachting industry for 9 years as a bosun, he's like, I'm all about team mentality and team building, and we work hard, we play hard, and if ego is just about making a name for yourself, it's not going to work for me. There's no I in team, Johnny.
But
so
actually
then we go
there
down
is, because Johnny told us earlier that in Greek his name is Ilonis, and that's the Greek name for Johnny. So there actually is an I in Johnny in this case. But
yeah,
I get your meaning, but.
Yeah, yeah. So Lara, meanwhile, says she's like, all right, everyone, just want to have a chat about what I sort of expect from my team. I've been in the industry for 13 years, and my style is I just want to create a really good girl group of all Barbies, no weird Barbies. I don't want any bitchiness, just pretty girls with pretty hair and pretty lipstick. I'm not going to assign like a second stew role at the moment because there's only a few of us, but I'd like Marina to start this one on service. So she basically does her own little crew meeting, and Brianna is going to be doing the grunt work for the charter.
Yeah, the laundry and the housework. So she's like, I'll get you girls to jump in guest cabins and just give it a really good dust vac and a really good wipe down. And by wipe down, I mean iron everything. Like, okay. So then Marina, which one's Marina?
Marina is the Brazilian.
Oh, the Brazilian girl. Yeah, yeah. She's like, we're quite bossy, and we know that we don't have a lot of time under the spotlight. So I know that if I have 1 second to shine and be heard, I'll make it count. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, this girl's going to be singing with the dish towels.
Yep. So then Lara is like, she's talking about how annoying this boat is. She's saying how there's like 4 flights of stairs, and then there's all this heat, and if she forgets something, that she's gonna have to go all the way back downstairs and all the way back up again. And yes, that will happen, and will happen very soon on this episode.
And then Harry tattletales that Johnny has introduced himself to everybody as the lead deckhand, and Leon's like, yeah, I guess we'll have to talk about that. So then Zarina finds a surprise in the kitchen. It's weevils and maggots because whoever worked there last never cleaned the food out. Don't they have a cleaning crew come in between there to say like, hey, guys, there's a bunch of fish in the freezer or in the refrigerator?
Yeah, why does this happen every season? Why is it that like these boats are just left in a state of disarray? Like for such a show about like such an industry about cleaning up after other people, why is it then that they just like bye, someone else can clean up after us now? It just is it's shocking.
Yeah. So Serena's disgusted, and she's got to bleach everything because super yacht standards means that charter guests won't have a little bug in the pasta salad. All right, unless it's on purpose. Some bugs are very cute and edible. And so she tells Jason, and he's like, oh, fuck it. Now we got to clean everything. So they start their full clean of the kitchen.
And we are treated to many, many shots of weevils and maggots, and I think even some stock footage in there, but a lot of weevil content in this episode, a lot of close-ups. The maggots were really that's the real visceral one there. I mean, weevils are just like little bugs, but the maggots, like that really makes you feel something.
Those things are disgusting. And we're all going to have them inside of us when we die. Yay! So then we do the preference sheet meeting, and Jason tells us who the primary is. It's Mark. He's an investor from Brisbane, Australia, and he's bringing along his partner, Megan, some of his closest friends, and anal beads. He loves his steak, and he loves his meat well done, and he also tells his girlfriend to wash her ass. So he's obviously vegan. And, you know, you've done vegan before, right? She's like, I've done vegan anal beads, actually. So I think it's going to be a good one for me.
She's like, I've just been vegan for a month. He's like, okay, perfect, right. But okay, so they say they want to use all the water and anal toys and inflatables. And they're like, okay, great. So they want to do a global tasting menu. And so Jason goes, all right, that's 190 countries. She's like, excuse me. He's like, 190 countries to choose from. She's like, okay, I'm probably not going to do that many, though.
And then he just laughs. I like that she took him seriously. Like, I can't wait to see what you do for 190 countries, stupid. And so now it's time to turn the boat over. And Brianna is asking to get run through turn downs and stuff. And so Marina teaches her, you know, chocolate on the pillow, light spline pillows. And Brianna is saying, like, I'm here to work hard and always happy to learn. But admittedly, I'm a Four Seasons girl. And that's my dad's fault. Because my dad's a lawyer in New Jersey. And I'm an only child. So I'm his princess. So sorry, guys, you're going to have to compete with my dad.
Yeah, that doesn't this backstory for Stu never seems to work out well. I'm just gonna say this is
your dad treats you like a little princess. Your dad has no problem with you being a maid. You know what?
Yeah.
You're looking too far up your father's bunghole. Okay, your father hates you.
We still remember Barbie. Okay, we still remember Barbie from Below Deck. Speaking of Barbies. So then Marina's like, so do you find anyone on the boat cute? And Brianna, the model, is like, I actually think Harry's cute in like just like the way he is. And I don't know why I'm giving her a British accent. She's from New Jersey. She's like, oh my God, I think that Harry's cute in the way he is. And Marina's like, really? The tall, awkward guy who looks like he's an inflatable thing outside of a used car dealership? She's like, yeah, I really like his energy.
So Marina's like, okay, we've got all the sheets done. Now we're doing duvets and pillows. And Lara's like, oh, amazing. Okay, well, this needs to go higher. It needs to be aligned with the table side and get rid of the creases. These creases, disgusting. I mean, sheets with creases. No. All right, surfaces, everybody, surfaces. It's a long day. Thank you so much for your hard work. Please get the wrinkles out of the duvet.
She pats it down. So then then Vian has a deck crew meeting at the end of the day, and he's like, just want to say thank you all very much for the hard work, and just something I want to address quickly. Obviously, some crew members do have a lot more experience than other crew members, but at this very moment, I'm not going to run with any lead deckhands, so get some good rest tonight. This was a message not aimed at anyone specifically, but anyway, let me just end it by saying, Opa, thank you very much.
So, everything starts tomorrow and it's in chaos, you know, and this is Anthony, the sous chef. And he's like, every boat I've worked on, the galley is absolutely spotless. So yeah, I'm a little bit like, what have I got myself in for? Well, you've got yourself into cleaning a galley. So I hope you're used to that. He must, because smaller boats don't have sous chefs, right? So he must be used to working on like a giant boat where there are a lot of sous chefs and people to clean and stuff like that. So yeah, rude awakening.
Yes. So now it's the next day. Everyone's getting ready for first day of charter. Everyone's like sweating already. They all like wake up refreshed, and then 3 seconds later, they all have sweat stains all over themselves. And Zarina is like praising Anthony for I guess doing a lot. He like spent the night cleaning. So she's like, yeah, you're a legend with a capital L, and everything is sterilized. The weevils are gone and killed. So kitchen is up and running.
So Jason likes Vian, and he's like, he's got a good CV. And what I want out of my bosun is someone thinking exactly what I'm thinking. Vian, what am I thinking? hot dogs, Cracker Jacks, fishable. That's right. Taking my new children to a baseball game. God, you're good. You're very good.
Jason then says, by the end of the season, him and I are going to be like two fishes in the water. We're working in unison. I was like, is that what fish do in the water? I feel like when you have two fish in the water, one eats the other fish.
Well, that's in the tank, like that's in a prison tank like he has. But
maybe
I think he means like in regular water, how the fish all turn at the same time. Or how do they do that? That's so amazing.
I don't know. They're crazy.
Like starlings, those birds that fly all together in
God.
shapes and stuff. Those are so amazing. They're so good.
Starlings love doing that. It's like, relax, we get it. You've got friends.
Yeah, they're never not dancers. They're like, oh my God, look at the shapes we can make. I'm like, can we just have fucking lunch? You know what I mean?
And then, meanwhile, tuna are down there in the sea making like tornadoes out of themselves. They're like, well, we could do tornadoes.
Yeah. No one's like, be a tuna. You know what I mean? No one ever is like, I think here's what I want for my team. I want us all to be like tuna.
So, anyway, lunch is going to be at 12, and Zarina is, I should say crew lunch is going to be at 12. So Zarina is giving Anthony some tips about how to make lunch for the crew. And she's like, okay, so if I were you, I would score the skin. He's like, yeah, I was going to score it. She's like, okay, and I'll put some salt on it, put Parmesan on it. And he's like, yeah, and it needs a bit of lemon juice and seasoning. It takes 2 seconds. Sorry, I didn't mean to patronize you. By the way, you know what a fish is, right? Have you ever seen a fish? Okay, so it's this protein. It's like meat, but it's in the sea. We're going to make that.
He clearly hates her, and she can read it. And she's like, listen, I didn't mean to patronize you. I'm just guiding you because I'm Jedi Master. And he's like, die. Please die. And he's like, God, she's already micromanaging. Just let the man cook. It's going to be a real fun season. She doesn't know how you cook. Okay, your CV doesn't even make any sense. It's a lie. There's lies on your CV. So I think she needs, just shut up. I mean, that's your job. No chef is supposed to be nice. I don't understand this whole thing where you're coming in and expecting your chef to kiss your ass. Like, that really shows inexperience on your part.
Yeah, I think that basically she should just let him do the crew food and don't even give direction. Just say, I want like a whatever it is, fish in a salad. See how he does it, and then you know what his instincts are. Because if you start telling him what to do, you're actually not going to get a sense necessarily of like where his baseline is, and then just go from there.
Yeah. So then the crew has lunch. And then we see a bio for the primary guests, Mark and Megan. They're from Brisbane, Australia. Mark is an investor in property development, and Megan is a model and actress, and farts sometimes without even knowing it. They've been dating for 8 months.
And then the guests come on, and they get the tour. And Anthony is like, he's like asking about serving the caviar. And Zarina's like, well, it's you take the cucumber, you cut the lawns, then you chop it, the lawns. Have you heard of a cucumber before? It's a vegetable. You're familiar with vegetables, right?
I don't want to eat caviar and a cucumber.
I don't want to do that either.
Give me a fucking blini. What have I done to you that you're serving me a fucking cucumber? Gross.
Yeah, no, I want something like a blini or something crispy, but I don't want a cucumber.
Yeah. So then now lines and all that, and Lara's bringing up caviar, and then
she has to bring it up on like a bicycle, this big metal bicycle thing, and it has like 3 plates on it, and she has to balance it going up 3 stairs in the extreme humidity. I was like, this is so cruel.
So Brianna has to call Lara, and Lara's like, a little busy here going 3 flights. She's like, listen, I'm a little busy too because I have found something I'm not really sure what to do while unpacking their luggage, and it's the anal beads. And Lara's like, oh, is that the only sex toy? God, is there anything massagey or something in there? She goes, no, there's more. She's like, well, maybe just put that in the side table. All right, just put that in the side table next to something that says nausea, because don't they put it next to nausea medication or something?
Yes, that's next to a packet that says nausea relief and then like anal beads.
And I like that she featured that one. She's like, are there more sex toys? Okay, only feature the anal beads. Put that in the side table.
Put it next to the Bible and the nausea relief. So the anchor goes down, water toys come out, lots of like jet skis, fun times, etc. And then Lara's talking to Zarina about the menu for this evening, the global tasting menu. So Zarina's like, well, this tart is going to be gazpacho and watermelon and lime and strawberry soup. And then Lara's like, do you have bowls? She's like, yeah, bowls, whatever. And they're basically like making sure that they have like all the silverware and flatware and plates and bowls and everything.
But this is kind of an important part just because she's like, do you have bowls? Do you have spoons? Yes. You need spoons for this. You need bowls for that. And she goes, well, this one's going to be she says, this dish. And she's like, okay, so I need a knife and fork for that. And she says, well, I mean, it's saucy as well. And so that's the big thing. Because later it becomes like, I had no idea we'd need a spoon. Crazy Bobby. She told you very clearly, ma'am. And she also says, you need to write this stuff down. And Lara's like, no, I don't need to write it down, which.
Right. But also, to be fair, like when Zarina says Tom Kagai, like I'm pretty sure that's a soup. So like why, when Lara says knife and fork, why does Zarina say it's a soup, provide a spoon?
Because
she's
like, by the way, the big onion bhaji or whatever in the center. So she's only putting like a little bit of that soup down as the sauce for this big onion thing. So they also will need a knife and fork, but she's like, yeah, it's saucy, meaning also a spoon.
It felt like everything she winds up serving was a soup, to be honest. I don't think they used.
She served 2 soups in a row, which was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love it. I love soup, but like it's weird.
I don't. I feel like if you serve me 2 soups in a row, you're calling me fat, and I get very offended.
I would love an evening of soups.
So Zarina is like, well, the last boat I worked on with Lara, the captain did give her control over the boat, which was kind of annoying because she ran with it. And she had to say my guest food, my crew food, and we're going to need a little bit more balance. It's not her way or the highway. We're going to be working as a team. We're a family.
And Lara tells us, the captain trusts my standards, and sometimes I had to go to the galley and give her bad news. And this isn't up to standard, and can we work on it, things like that, which didn't always go down well, like a lead balloon, in fact. Yeah. So then we see toys are getting put away and everything. So Johnny did not take the cue with him to bring the jet ski in. But there's a thing. Johnny leaves his radio on the deck and then goes out to get the jet ski to untether it, but doesn't have the key. And long story short, he winds up stranded on the jet ski without a radio and without a key. I don't know how that happens. I don't know why he didn't bring his radio, but that's just what happened.
Well, he said, like, should I bring my radio? He says, no, you can leave it here. So he's like, okay. And so he goes all the way out, and then he's stuck without a key all the way out there. And I love when this happens to the most arrogant people,
Yes. And he's out there for a while because it's like the sun is up when he goes out there.
Yeah.
By the time they find him, it is nighttime.
Yeah. And he's trying to whistle, but he can't really whistle. He's just like, no key, no key. So finally, Harry figures it out, and they go get him. And Harry's like, I mean, Mr. Lead Deckhand over here can't even check to see if the key's in the jet ski before he unties it. Rookie.
So Jason's like, Johnny's floating on a jet ski to Madagascar. Embarrassing as it is, I'll let it slide as long as it doesn't happen again. And then Johnny is just like really embarrassed and everything. So now everyone's getting ready for dinner and stuff. And Zarina tells us, well, the guests have requested some flavors from around the world. So I'm thinking Europe and Mediterranean, Asian food and Indian food, lots of flavors, sauces. I just want to make soup on soup on soup, like lots of soups from around the world.
All right, so Laura comes up and she's like, the first course is Italian. Yes, you've heard it. Out of 190 countries, we've chosen the most basic for service. Italian, everybody. We've got gazpacho that's a bit different, much like the dork who made it. Strawberry, watermelon, tarragon, and gold sprinkles. Now, if you're asking yourself, is this a classy boat? It is, because there will be gold on everything today. It's like, okay, a little gold's okay, but I don't need to poop out a Golden Crappie award, okay?
Yeah.
It's a lot of gold.
No.
She puts it on everything.
Also, isn't gazpacho Spanish, not Italian? Seems strange that was representing Italy. And of all the things, that represent Italy, is gazpacho? Something's awry.
It?
I thought gazpacho was Spanish, a classic Spanish soup.
Who invented gazpacho? I'm just curious. I don't doubt you. Gazpacho.
Mm-hmm.
The exact origins from gazpacho are unknown, but it's generally believed to have originated in Andalusia, Spain. Guys, It could have also been from Rome, the Moors, and the New World.
It could have been from anywhere. Gazpacho.
You know why? Because they didn't have heat everywhere, so it's some cold fucking soup. Okay, who knows who invented cold soup? That shit came out a long time ago.
It arrived on a meteor. Gazpacho.
Gazpacho, it's interesting reading here because gazpacho actually means we haven't invented microwaves yet, which is interesting. I didn't know.
Gazpacho is the favorite soup of weird Barbies everywhere. They love it. So now it's time for the next one, which is this onion bhaji. And Lara's like, it's very saucy. Marina, could you put some spoons out? Quick. So Marina has to go all the way downstairs to get the spoons. I mean, I guess maybe it's time to start keeping the utensils upstairs because she has to go all the way downstairs to get the spoons. And there's a lot of Marina going up and downstairs. And we even get like a tally. That's like, Marina has climbed now 4,500 stairs in the past 3 minutes.
So then meanwhile, Anthony in the kitchen is like, so do you need help plating? Because it's chaos. And she's like, no, it's just too many elements, but thank you so much for offering. And she just has to do everything by herself. And this is going to bite her in the ass.
It will.
She's not using this guy. And I mean, I think the guy's an asshole. I hate his attitude, but yeah, she's not making the best moves here so far.
She should be using him. Like, why just use him? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, why not be faster, right?
So then Lara is like, now we've gone to India. So you've got some onion bhaji, the korma sauce, and avocado salsa. And guess what? Maybe no one important has told you this yet, but it's saucy. So enjoy that.
So then Lara is like, all right, well, so wait, the next course is a soup as well? Oh, so we do need a spoon. I thought you said knife and fork. And Zarina says, yeah, I thought it would be, but it's getting cold. So we need to hurry up. And Lara's like, well, we can't serve a soup without the spoons. So she's like, Marina, I'm terribly sorry, but we need spoons for another soup. Okay. And so Zarina's getting like anxious because, like the soup is getting cold.
And she's like, I mean, come on, it's a soup. You wrote it down, didn't you? And she goes, well, I mean, I wrote the simplest version down. Let me tell you what my notes say. Stupid ugly Fez says stupid. Dumb hate her. Please don't make me room with this ugly bitch. So how am I supposed to know this spoons? You never said that.
And then Anthony is like, well, so sorry. It's a bit noisy in here. Kind of like implying that Zarina's disorganized, which is why Lara didn't hear it right. So Zarina's like, well, I'm glad it is a soup because if it was something else, it'd be cold by now. So then they finally bring the soup up. And I guess, some of the soup has chicken, some has mushroom, etc. And Lara's like, hey, just so you know, they love the soup. And sorry, I didn't mean to be snappy. It's just it's hot and there's like a lot of going upstairs. And also, you never told me it was a fucking soup that needed a spoon. Anyway, sorry to be snappy.
So Zarina forgives it or whatever. Let's just move on. So then we go to Harry talking to Brianna about her day. And she's like, I found some interesting things while unpacking some bags. And he's like, oh, what did they bring? Tell me. She's like, butt plugs. And he goes, oh, no. Do you have access to those still? You didn't lock them away, did you? Keep them in the nightside table, all right? So we keep things like that.
So then Zarina's checking in on Anthony and asking if he's fed up. And he's like, no, I'm fine. And she's like, I don't want you really working this much. And I feel bad. And he's like, it's pretty chill for me. And she just doesn't acknowledge it. He's like, did you hear me? I was trying to be passive aggressive. This is chill for me. Hello. Are you receiving my passive aggression?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm a sous chef, not a sous dish chef. Don.
Yeah, because he's basically been in the corner this entire meal service, just like washing dishes. They keep cutting to him, just scrubbing things and like wiping down surfaces and wiping down the refrigerator, just angry.
Yeah, they're both suffering from things that it's typical for chefs to suffer from, which is bad communication. Like they both need to communicate a lot better. So then it's the next morning. And Lara's like, well, last night wasn't great, but if I gave up, I wouldn't be where I am today. And where I am is the Golden Sugar Cube winner for 10 years in a row, thanks to my father running me around the horse tracks. I actually beat a pony last week. That was good.
There are times I thought I was going to die, but I had to give up. Or that I thought I had to give up. But there's always good things around the corner. There's no dying in yachting. Unless, of course, your yacht sinks, in which case you could die.
You will die.
So then...
Near, far, wherever you are. Did anyone else just hear the Titanic theme playing? I was like, girl.
Literally, that's what like boating can be. Like one of the biggest movies of all time is about people dying on a boat. So now it's the morning. I think we already established that. And Lara's running around and getting coffees and waters and stuff like that. And the problem is the primary woke up before everyone else. And the primary is hungry and wants breakfast, but no one's ready yet. And he's getting antsy and Lara's getting frantic. And so she's hot. Her legs are tired. So she decides to take the coffee up in the elevator. And then the elevator breaks. So she's stuck in the elevator with her coffee. And
she can't have her radio. She doesn't have the radio working in the elevator, so people are barking orders and she can't hear them, and it's a huge mess. But I would like to point out that last night, Zarina came up to talk to the chefs, to talk to the guests, and said, so tomorrow breakfast is 8:30 good? And they all said 8:30 is great. So this fucker down there at 8 a.m., like, where's my breakfast? Shut up. You said 8:30. You agreed to 8:30. So don't act like you didn't hear it.
Yep. So then Lara, she goes, takes everyone's orders, and they all put in orders for various egg items. And then Zarina's like, but are you going to tell them what the special is? Did you tell them that we have a breakfast soup available for them? And she's like, no.
It's gold soup. The special is gold breakfast soup.
It's a breakfast gazpacho. It's a Tuscan breakfast gazpacho. She's like,
and she's like, well, but they just said, can we have these eggs? No, you have to go down and tell them, here's the special. Here's what everybody's getting. That's it. And then if they ask for something extra, then you do it. But you don't tell a bunch of starving people, all right, anything you want.
Right. Because then you're making a million things. But in this case, though, luckily, Zarina has a sous chef who can help make all these eggs. And yet she still does not use Anthony. I mean, come on, lady. Like, you can let him make eggs. He will be able to do the eggs. I guarantee it.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, God, this is what I was worried about with Lara. You come to the head chef and ask how you would like breakfast done. You don't just go up and do your own thing. I need it to be my way to get the flow going. And Anthony's like, you want a hand? She goes, no, I'm fine. She's got spoons flying everywhere. Tofu eggs, regular eggs, cashew eggs, gold eggs.
Yeah. Gazpacho eggs. The thing is this, I sympathize with this. Like, Lara should have kind of controlled the messaging of breakfast, but Zarina, I can't be that empathetic because you're all harried and you're feeling chaotic right now, but you have someone who is literally there to help you and you're not using them. So you need to start delegating.
Yeah. So Serena's like, it's okay. I'm just trying to avoid this like the plague, and it's a little annoying right now. So Lara goes to her room and cries. She's like, oh. So Anthony's like, you need to utilize me a bit more, I think. And she goes, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I mean, I know it's a little bit funny in the chaos, but I work normally a bit more organized and efficient, which also is not the best way to communicate that. Wait till it's done and just say, listen, I know you don't know me and you have no reason to trust me, but I'm here to help you. I can cook. Let me take on some of this stuff.
Yes, it was very mansplaining and condescending. But then they do cut away to the rest of the kitchen, and there's like shit everywhere. There's like cartons of milk on their side, and like lemons tumbling off the counter onto the floor.
But just
also, like a fire
he could
burning.
Be helping with that. I mean, I think if she saw him like going around picking up everything and like helping her stay organized and handing her what she needs before she needs it, and like showing that he could be good at it, then she would trust him a little bit more. But instead, he's just standing there like, what a pigsty. Well, yeah, you're just standing there. Get to work.
He's like, I find this a bit overwhelming, that's all. And there's shit everywhere. And we can definitely implement plans and structures that make it a bit easier. But if we work as a team like this morning, we could have worked as a team. Like, that's how it should work, right?
And so Serena's already breaking. She's like, oh my God, first of all, I've got Barbie up there crying, causing me chaos. And now I've got this little sous chef twat. So I just need him to support me as a sous, which is position second to head chef. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, but
shit show.
Yeah, it's a shit show. It's going to be a fun one. Wow. It's usually the first really episode, there's not this much going on.
Yeah, and I like that there's like lots of stuff going on in each department. So it's going to be a good one. Below Deck Down Under is always, it's kind of like a top tier Below Deck. So, yeah, looking forward to the season.
Yeah, it's going to be some good times. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us. If you want this on video, it's at patreon.com along with our traders recaps. Also, go stream the Golden Crappies. It's available till February 14th. Find the link on our site, and we'll see you soon this week, actually, Thursday and Friday, Salt Lake City and Denver, where we will be doing Salt Lake City and Southern Charm. Go find our other show dates at watchwhatcrappens.com, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's always automatic with Ashley Auto.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp. Catherine DiBernardo has our hardo.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offutt.
Dana C. Dana Do. She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Etchels.
Erin McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey. You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones. I go, you go, we all go for Hugo.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
We could all learn from Jennifer Kearns.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Knock, knock, knocking on Katie Manock's door. She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Bringing the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets an A from us. It's Lindsay D.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McKinnery. We love her on the rocks. It's Melissa Cox.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love a ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
Have a heck of a time with Rebecca. She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Yes, we canna, it's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
She's VVIP, it's Amanda V.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD. She's got a leg up. It's Beth Ani.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva. Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish. It's Jen Plish. She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron. She's a whiz. It's Liz Sarthy. Always killing it. It's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
She eases our woes. It's Melissa St. Rose.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Put on a kettle for Rebecca Weddle.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.